Hello friends, welcome to the online lecture series of CNC machines and automation. I hope you have studied the last lecture which was very important, which was the introduction of the MCU. And today we are going to discuss the very important topic related to MCU, which is elements of MCU. Means MCU made up of what components. Here what is the major part, major function of those components. We are going to discuss this topic in today's lecture. So these are the, in brief, these are the topics, these are the parts of the MCU which we are going to discuss in detail in the coming lecture. Correct. So the first one is your input or reader unit. Correct. Those units on which the program is written that has to be inserted into the your MCU so that the MCU can read the data. Earlier it was a punched tape, punched card or the magnetic tape, but nowadays we have started using these kind of input devices like the floppy disk drive, correct, which you have already seen. Maybe some of you have seen, but in my age that I have seen many of these floppy disk drives. Then the second is USB flash drive. This is most common today, the USB, or you can say it's a pen drive which we are using in the computers. You can see the image on the right side. Correct. Then we are having the serial communication. Serial communication is used widely in online gaming things. Correct. Or the LAN gaming things. This serial communication is used, and the same is used in the MCU to transfer the data. Then we are having the Ethernet communication. Correct. Ethernet communication is your wires through which your HDMI ports are there, your internet connection wires are there. These are the Ethernet communications. Clear? And this is the difference between, most of you don't know about the serial and Ethernet communication. So here I am discussing about the serial and Ethernet communication. This is the image for the serial communication. Correct. In which you can see there's a host computer. Here there's a host computer which is connected to the main server. Fine. And then this, all your PCs or the CNC machines are connected to the main host computer with the two wires. One wire is for input, other wire is for the output. Here you can connect n number of machines and so on to this main computer. See, there's a one data cable which is taking the data from the PC, and another is to connect it to the all PCs. Correct. So this is a serial communication. Then we are having the Ethernet communication. This is widely used because in this there are less wires to be used for the data transfer. In the Ethernet communication, we are having the host computer which is connected to each machine through a single wire. Correct. Sometimes this Ethernet communication can use the wireless communication also. Right. So it is the one wire which is taking the data from your host computer and to the other CNC, and then getting back the feedback to the host computer. So this is the main difference between serial and Ethernet communication. We are not going to the depth of these things, but yes, serial communication would take two wires to transfer data or taking back, and in the data via two wires. Correct. And then in this Ethernet communication, we are having only one wire for the communication. Here. Then we are having the reader unit. Correct. Then we are having the reader unit. Input device and reader unit is the first part. So the reader unit are those, I'll start from the very beginning. Correct. Then we are having the card type of program written. Can you see this card? So this card on which you can see the dots are made. This punch are made over this. This is nothing, just the coding. Here how this data is coded onto a card. Here, so earlier times these cards were used to transfer, to write the program. Correct. Then this card is to be entered into the MCU, and MCU read the data and works accordingly. Fine. So it's a card reader which is used. This is a card. Who will read it? The reader will read that card, but this reader can read up to 12 to 1000 cards per minute, depending upon the specification of your reader and depending upon the version of your machine. Clear. Then after that we came on to the punched tapes. Clear. That's another era. But how we can read the punched tape? How we can read these things? The punched tape reader. There are punched tape reader which are three types, which we are going to discuss. Then there's a magnetic tape reader. Clear. Which we are going to discuss now. Then the mechanical readers. You can see there's a punched tape. Clear. There's a punched tape. Instead of using a single card, we have write the program on this long strip of the paper. Punched card or punched tape, both are made of paper, a special kind of paper on which punches are made so that the data is written in that punch. Clear? So we need a reader which can read these things. Fine. The first one type of the reader is mechanical reader. How does it work? This is a type of the mechanical reader. You can see over this. This is your punch tape moving through. Here, this is your punch tape, and below here your mechanical fingers. Here is the mechanical finger. Whenever this mechanical finger is crosses this means pass through this hole, it means a contact is made. Here, this contact is made, and this is a one position. Correct? It's a binary connection, either 0 or 1, means the data is read or data is not there. Fine. So if this mechanical finger is not passes through this hole, then the contact will not be made. It means there's a 0 condition. Fine. So this is how the mechanical reader works. If the mechanical finger passes through the punch tape, it is 1 position or on position. When it does not passes through the hole, it will be 0 position or the off position. So this is how mechanical reader will work. But you know that mechanical reader are mostly heavier kind of a reader. So we do not use, in the further times, we do not use these mechanical readers. Then we came on to the pneumatic readers. Correct? It means with the help of the air. Yes, you guess it very right, with the help of the air. So if the, see, this is your punched tape. Here, this is your punched tape moving through here. Correct? So if this punched tape is throwing the air, this a pump is there which is continuously pressurizing the air from here. If this is passes through punched tape and goes through the tape support plate, it outs, then it is a 1 position. Means the air is passed through the punched tape, then there is a hole is made. It means something is coded over there. Fine. Then if it is passes through, then it's a 1 position. And in this case, if it does not pass through here, means it is, the hole is not on the tape, it means there is a 0 condition. So this is how the pneumatic reader works. And even then we need a pump or a compressor which is compressing the air, so it's costly. Then we came on to the optical readers. So how optical readers work? You can see there's a one source of light over on this side. This is a light source, this is a punched tape, and the holes are made onto the punched tape. And there's a photocells. Photocells means those things which can sense the light. Fine, which can sense the light. So I'm throwing the light. If the light is passing through the hole, we all know that if there is a hole, the light would pass through it. So then the light will be sensed by the photocells. It means that if the light is sensed by it, it means there's a 1 position. If the light is not there, then it means there's a 0 position. Yeah, so this is how the data is read under the magnetic tape, tape readers. Then the most advanced type is the magnetic tape. You might have seen these kind of tapes, you might have heard or listened to the songs on these kind of tapes. How the data is written? It is written in the magnetic form. Correct? This tape is made up of ferric oxides. The same way that it reads the data in these tapes, the same way it is reading in the CNC machines. Correct? So there is a recording head on which there is a the coil is there, on which the magnetic current is passing and magnetic flux is there. So when the tape passes through here, it is also carrying some material related to the ferric oxides. Then it reads the data according to the program. Fine. Like we are listening to the songs according to the magnetic tape, A side or B side. Similarly, we are reading the data through the magnetic tape onto the CNC machine. Clear? So these are the older type of the tape readers. Means nowadays we do not use any kind of punched card, punched tape or magnetic tape. We now use these CNC machines which is having a computer in which it can read the data very easily and very fastly and very reliable and most advanced, most flexible type. Clear? So this is the older type of the readers. Now the further is the program memory. We discussed about the input devices or input readers. Then there is a program memory. A memory is already there in the MCU which can store the programs, n number of programs into it. So whenever you need it, you just select the program, then you can use it. Then we are having a buffer memory. Buffer memory in which the program is running, like your RAM. When you are using something, it is onto the RAM. Similarly, the buffer memory is there when you are running some program, when you wanted to stay or maybe stand by, the program is stored into the buffer memory. Here, so it stores the program in temporarily. Then we are having advanced management. You might have in the further lectures you will be discussing about the access calibration, adaptive controls and thermal compensation. We'll discuss all these things, but this is advanced management. Means after running 1 or 2 times the program, the machine will get to know itself what is the correct optimization for the machine. So that is called adaptive control and access calibration. It will do it. Correct. So it is called advanced management, which is already inside the MCU. Earlier machines it was not possible, but now CNC machines it is possible with this. Correct. So advanced side we'll discuss in the upcoming lectures. Then we are having a processor. We all know if a computer is there, then the processor is must. Yeah, so depending upon the specification of the machine and the capacity of the machine, the processor is selected. Then the output channels and the actuators. Output channels means how the output from the MCU is taken to the different motors, is taken to the different actuators, fine, and different sensors also. So this is the output channels and actuators. Then the diagnostics, which is most important, the self-health checking. Correct. Diagnostics stands for self-health checking, even itself of the machine tools also. Correct. So if something is missed or something is not running properly, or your tool is not there, workpiece is not properly clamped inside the machine, so it will check it out and gives you a message onto the monitor so that you can check it out and make the problem correct. Fine. Then there is a control panel. Control panel is the interface through which you are contacting to the machine. If you are uploading some commands or controlling the machine through the control panel, permits the operator to interfere the machine operation manually. So if the program is automatic, there is a manual override. Correct. There is a manual override. It means you can do anything in between. You say if some mishappening is there, so you can stop the machine at any time. Clear? So this is the control panel of the machine. So you can see there is a this is your monitor. This is a control panel. This is a emergency stop button to control the machine manually. These buttons are to be used to input the data. These buttons are to be used. This keypad is used over there. So this is the MCU. So this is all about today. Please like and subscribe my channel Tiny Steps, and for the further videos must watch this channel. Thank you and take care.